Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Anime. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And this time I had Dave watch Royal Rumble 2001, and he had me watch the first 4 episodes of Beastars.
Yes.
So we're going to start with Royal Rumble 2001, originally on January 21st, 2001, in the New Orleans Arena in New Orleans. Shocking, I know. Which is now the Smoothie King Center.
Supposed yay?
It's just what it's called now. And in front of a crowd of 17,137 and 625,000 home views on pay-per-view.
Neat.
First match up is the Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian for the WWF tag titles.
Yeah!
Okay, so first thing, they're using concussions as a storyline. Jesus.
Yeah.
So the whole gimmick here is that Edge and Christian have been beating the Dudley Boys upside the head with chairs for a while.
Just a little bit.
And now they have concussions, and for some reason, they're medically cleared to wrestle with concussions. Isn't that a major lawsuit for the WWF? Like, yeah, you sent these guys out there knowing they were concussed.
Yeah, but then of course you also need to remember this is wrestling, so a couple things can kind of be skirted under the rug a little bit.
Oh, okay. So there's this catapult spot that I forget which of the Dudley Boys does it, but like Christian's up on the top rope and he grabs Edge and he catapults him up. Yeah. I love how Christian like has his hair in his eyes so he can't see the spot coming. So it actually makes sense. He's not like, how did I not see this coming?
Yes.
And I want to go to the end of the match actually pretty quickly here. Reversing the 3D with the spear is just great. So Christian goes for the unprettier on Bubba.
Blah.
Devon interrupts by kicking Christian in the gut.
Yeah.
They go for the 3D, and Edge spears Bubba before he can hit the 3D, and Christian reverses Devon with the DDT.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking great sequence.
Yes.
It's really cool. The Dudleys hit the 3D and win the tag titles in a fun match, even though they're apparently concussed.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, with one of them, it's definitely understandable, since don't know the names separately, but one of them was fairly good to go, and at the start of the match pretty much dominated in most cases, but as soon as his partner kind of came in, the boys kind of got on him, bumped him in the head a whole bunch, and it's like, if he didn't have a concussion before, he does now.
Yeah, they're just like baiting them upside the head the entire match. It's great.
But thankfully, at the very least, he did dodge both of the chairs.
Yes, they do go for a few chair shots. These teams might have something amazing in them if they added maybe one more team and some tables and ladders and chairs. Oh my.
I think that was sort of a thing from what I remember them advertising with it. But
David, in a couple of months they might have a TLC match and add the Hardy Boys to it, and it'll be fucking great.
Hooray!
And you'll get to watch that eventually.
I would not be surprised.
Because it's fucking great. Did you have anything else to add about this match?
No, I think on whole it was mostly fairly good, though it was a case of, with the Hardy Boys, when I saw them, it's like, I vaguely remember you guys, but I can't remember why. And then watching through it, it's like, oh, now I remember, I detest you. And then I was thankfully happy that the Dudley Boys won. It's like, yay!
Edge and Christian were the ones in this match, not the Hardys.
Oh, okay.
Different people, David. Very different people.
You know me with the peoples.
Edge and Christian are from Canada. The Hardy Boys are from, like, North Carolina. And not exactly the same folks.
Yeah.
So, after the match, we go backstage, and Drew Carey makes an appearance backstage with the man of many H's and Stephanie McMahon Helmsley.
Because, Drew Carey's here.
Yes, because he's promoting a pay-per-view.
Yes.
He's going to do an improv pay-per-view that's basically Whose Line Is It Anyway, but pay for it now.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like it's like 2 1.5-hour shows is what I read. So there's like I guess my understanding is like there's the family friendly one and then there's the after dark part.
As you kind of do.
So next we go out to the ring for an IC title match that makes me so happy.
Oh, it's the Chris match.
Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental title in a ladder match. I wonder if this will be good. Answer: yes, it will.
I think most of my comment is just beep beep
ladder. So the Benoit takes a chair shot while he's doing a suicide dive outside the ring.
Ah, yes.
And Jesus, don't do that.
Yeah,
I know he gets his hands up to block it, but still, don't do that.
No. I actually have one of those metal chairs.
Okay. Jericho's tarantula on top of the ladder is great. I love because it looks so fucking painful. Because he's like bending Benoit's spine over the ladder.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Yeah. And then of course when Jericho fell off the ladder onto the ropes.
From
up there.
Yeah, that's a really good. So Benoit misses Air Canada off the ladder, which is what he calls the flying headbutt.
Yeah.
Jericho places the ladder on Benoit, and Benoit powers out, and it looks really good. So Jericho wins the IC title after a hell of a ladder match, and I love how much JR is into this match. He's so fucking happy. Like, you can hear it in his voice. He's like, "Fuck yeah, that was awesome." And he's doing his damnedest to make sure everybody knows and to make these guys stars. You can tell how fucking happy he is after that match. Because it was fucking hard-hitting and awesome. So did you have anything else to add?
It was neat.
They bet the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
That's basically what it came down to. So, backstage, we see Vince add Drew Carey to the Royal Rumble. Shenanigans.
Yeah. With Vince, you can always count on it.
And then Jericho cuts a promo backstage, which is fine. Just saying, like, hey, I won the belt and I beat Benoit. Next we have Chyna versus Ivory for the women's title. Dave, why don't you tell me what you thought of this match before I go on a rant?
There was story.
There was story.
And yeah. Nothing much happened.
Okay. Let's go with the positives first. There are technically positives in this match.
Like the two things?
I love that Chyna's billed as the ninth wonder of the world. As they called Andre the eighth wonder of the world. So it's a nice bit of continuity. I love the right to censor entrance theme. Because it's so perfectly annoying.
Yeah,
because they're meant to be little shits who ruin everybody's fun. So having that, like, annoying buzzer sound is perfect.
Yeah.
I really hate this angle. I mean, I really hate it. It's tasteless for even 2001 WWF, which is saying something.
It's like, oh man, I had neck injury and all these particular stuff sort of happened, but I'm still gonna wrestle because of the stuff. And oh man, shows that she could supposedly do it. And since she tries to do something flashy or her neck gets touched, it's like, oh no, paralyzed.
Okay, I really hate how this match ends and the whole angle after. So the entry angle is booked solely to depower Chyna. Because they're like, well, we've booked her too strong and we've had her win the IC belt previously. Like a men's title. Well, we're not going to do that anymore, so we have to put her in the women's division. Well, we've booked all the other women to be basically shit. So now we don't have any believable opponents for Chyna. So we have to give Chyna an injury so that she can be believably threatened by these other women. I have a much better solution. Don't book the other women to be shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be easier?
Yeah, just a ditch.
Anyway.
Meh.
We have a segment with Stephanie and Trish backstage, which sure was a thing.
Oh man, all that girls talk.
I wonder if this will lead to something eventually.
Yeah.
Drew Carey meets Kane backstage, and oh my god, there's a guy wearing an XFL jacket.
Yeah.
I know you don't know what the XFL is, but I was happy.
Adios.
So Vince, in 2001, decided he wanted to start a football league.
Okay.
And it was called the XFL.
Okay.
Because he referred to the NFL as the No Fun League.
Okay.
And it was a thing that lasted, like, a year.
Suppose it's yay.
It was great. So, next we have a backstage segment with Tiger Ali Singh, D'Lo Brown, and Chaz, which is interrupted by Vince, because they're like, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. No, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. And Vince is like, none of you fuckwits are going to be in the Rumble. I put Drew Carey in.
Vince shenanigans!
It's good shenanigans, though, because it's actually funny. Because Tiger Ellie's saying mishears him and thinks he said Drew Curry. That's comedy. Because Carey sounds kind of like Curry, and he's Indian. Get it? It's funny.
Just a second, let me get the frying pan.
Whack! So now we cut to WWF New York. Jesus, this is going to be death. They get a bunch of the worst wrestling fans ever to give their opinion on what's going to happen in the next match.
All like, random person sitting at a bar, it's like, dude, who do you think's going to win at wrestling?
And they give, like, the most generic scripted answers. It's like, either these are the most uncharismatic people on Earth, or this was scripted. I don't know which.
It's just that hard to tell.
It is! Where's the Bulldog Kid? So, I know you don't know what that means, but there's an infamous one of these. They did one where it was in before a match at Wembley Stadium, and this kid's like, the British Bulldog's gonna win whether he wants to or not. Where's that kid? That kid had personality.
Yeah.
We cut to Triple H backstage looking into a mirror and being very angry about it.
He needs to get into camouflage.
So next we have Triple H versus Kurt Angle. What did you think of this match?
It was Triple H versus Kurt Angle.
It was really good.
It was Triple H versus Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I know. I said that when I said it was very good.
Yeah.
So Kurt starts off with his straps down, and I'm like, was that a thing he was doing at the time? Because I don't remember it, but it might have been.
Yeah.
I just wrote, this is a very Triple H match. It's not flashy, but everything looks good, and there aren't really any fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Which is basically a Triple H match.
Yeah.
It's pretty good the entire way through, and nobody really fucks up because they don't really do anything fancy.
Depending on what you call fuck-up with the additional match that happened partway through it.
What do you mean?
The ladies jumping into things.
Oh, there's a run. Yeah, but nobody fucks up a move or anything.
Ah, okay.
All the moves are done really well.
Nah.
And, Triple H doesn't, he's not going to do a 450 splash off the top rope. Because he could fuck that up.
Yeah.
But he'll do a lot of really good suplexes and shit.
Nothing.
And everything looks good, but it's not super flashy.
Nah.
Angle hits a beautiful moonsault.
Yes.
Oh my god, he had such a good moonsault. Angle wins after Stone Cold interferes. And I wonder if this whole Stone Cold Triple H thing will lead anywhere. It may be about a month. They might have some kind of, I don't know, 3 stages of hell match or something. You'll learn about that soon.
Yeah.
The Rock cuts a promo backstage, and it's a Rock promo, so it's good.
It's a Rock promo.
And now we get to the Royal Rumble match. David, what's a Royal Rumble?
They have some people start wrestling, and then every couple minutes they send another person in for wrestling. Then the only way that the person can get out is if you throw them off the top ropes and if both their feet touch the ground.
Very good. You followed the rules.
Well, they said it 376 times. Don't ask how I know.
So what did you think of the Royal Rumble?
It was a thing. At the start of it, it was kind of the case of, oh man, couple people wrestling. Then the next guy comes in, it's like, oh hey dude. And then the other two are just sort of brothers, and it's like, oh man. But then they sort of wrestle it out because they need to compete and get all the things together.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was one extra before Drew Carey, but one came in and it's like, oh hello, goodbye.
Yeah, so Jeff Hardy starts with, I forget who it was. It was Bull Buchanan. That's who it was.
What?
Bull gets tossed out. Matt Hardy gets in the ring. They have a little thing.
Nah.
You'd think that brothers would have a good fucking match together.
Nah.
But we'll get on. We'll maybe talk about that another time. I hate you, Jeff Hardy. The Drew Carey comes out eventually, and look, it's funny.
Yeah, he kind of
Drew Carey being like, he comes out to the ring and he's like slapping hands. He gets in the ring, and a few seconds later, Kane's music hits, and he's just like, "Oh shit."
Well, at least there's some other wrestlers in it. Oh no, it's just me.
And I love that because it makes Kane look like a monster.
Yeah.
He's helping make Kane a star. And I love how he tries to pay Kane off. He's like, here's $20, don't hurt me.
Options.
So Kane destroys a bunch of people.
Kane destroys so many people.
Yeah, this is it's almost like they're booking Kane to be a monster or something.
Well, that and the other particular thing that we're most likely going to get to.
What?
The fact that The Rock gets in there and stays in there for so long. They get him on the top rope and it's like, no, I do what it be.
So Honky Tonk Man comes out and that's great.
It was.
Honky Tonk Man is great.
There was some music, but then I was very upset because Kane got angry, grabbed his guitar, and smashed it over his head. Do you know how expensive a guitar is?
Okay. But, like, it's fun to see Honky Tonk Man, but don't let him do too much.
Yeah.
Let him do his shtick and chuck him out. I wonder if we'll see him again at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Maybe. Kane breaks the guitar over his head and throws him out. And, like, that's a good spot for Kane.
Whack.
Eventually The Rock comes out and he gets a monster pop.
Yes.
Because he's the fucking Rock.
Yeah.
And this is 2001 and he is the biggest star in the industry.
Yeah.
Except maybe for Stone Cold.
Yeah.
What else did you want to bring up about this match? Oh, we get to talk about Rikishi later. That'll be fun.
I was mildly surprised because they were kind of hyping him up and being the last one to come in, but then it was just sort of like,
Yeah, so at this point they decided, you know that guy that was dancing in Goofy a couple of months ago? Let's make him a villain. Let's make him a bad, bad man.
Of course!
So they turned Rikishi heel. So they did this angle. When would that have been? It was Survivor Series, I want to say 99? Maybe?
Yeah,
I don't remember. So somebody ran over Steve Austin so he could go get neck surgery because he needed neck surgery.
Oh, yes, and it was him.
And it was Rikishi. And I'm like, Rikishi's the dancing fat guy that everybody likes. Why'd you make him the bad guy?
Most likely supposed reasons? Either that or they just did the typical dartboard method.
I think it was a dartboard. Because, like, you could make Rikishi a main event guy without turning him heel.
No.
Turning him heel makes no sense because people don't want to boo Rikishi. Rikishi is the fun guy who dances and makes funny faces. Why? Okay.
I think the only other one supposed way is they could supposedly take that warrior method sort of thing with the dance type sort of stuff. But even then, that's kind of a slim angle.
No, so, like, Samoa Joe's done that, where he's done, like, war dances before he comes out to the ring, and that's cool.
No.
But Rikishi did goofy dances with too cool.
Mm.
He wasn't the most serious guy.
No.
Anyway. So, what else did you want to mention about the Royal Rumble match?
Well, I think it was kind of a case of it was slow to start. Drew Carey's section was there. And then a couple of the big main guys were kind of working on things. And then it just kind of turned into an absolute mess with a whole bunch of people in there. And I just lost focus. It was just like, these guys are fighting, and then these guys are fighting.
Yeah.
And that guy was supposedly thrown out, but I don't know.
There's a little hardcore section where they bring out Raven and like Al Snow, and they've got like their cookie sheets and bowling balls.
Oh,
and they're
yes,
doing all their shit.
It turns into a giant prop match. It's like, oh man, look at this bag. It's a bowling ball. Whack!
I love the bowling ball. It's so good. And then Raven's in this, and Raven doesn't get near enough time, because Raven's great.
Yeah.
And Taz gets eliminated way too quickly, because Taz is great.
Yeah, there were also kind of cases of, I'm in this match now, and I'm gonna beat some guys. Oh, I'm over the top rope.
Poor Taz. Taz should have got better, because Taz is great. Anyway, what else was there in this, other than... Okay, so Austin comes out and and Triple H interferes, and bloodies Austin. And it looks pretty good, because it's... You know, Triple H's stuff always looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Austin ends up winning the Rumble.
Yeah.
Because of course he did, because he's Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And this is 2001.
Yeah.
And that guarantees Stone Cold the main event of WrestleMania to challenge for the title.
Supposed things of fanciness.
I wonder who he'll be challenging against. It won't be Kurt Angle. It'll probably be the other biggest star in the company.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll find out more about that next time.
Hooray!
It'll be really good. Plus, you'll get to watch it on a VHS. Because they didn't release a DVD for No Way Out 2001.
Neat.
Not really. It was a pain in the ass to find a copy. Anyway.
On the one hand, a very small part of you was probably like, got bigger pages.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of happy. I was like, yes, you get to watch it in inferior quality, the way I had to do it back in my day, Shunny Jim.
You're not that old, buddy.
Anyway, let's talk about Beastar, because that was a thing I sure did watch.
I'm intrigued, because it was a mild case of, with the couple things that I've shown you, there's been some things that have been fairly decently acclaimed from the list of stuff I've shown you, and there's stuff that, knowing your tastes, you probably would despise. And with the couple stuff that I've seen over the last little while, there's like, there's this thing that looks so fancy and neat but doesn't have a lot of substance to it. And then there's this other thing that a lot of people have been discussing about and has a little bit more substance to it. And it's like,
David, my favorite anime that I've watched so far had virtually no substance, and that was the Panda Cafe. Because the Panda Cafe was amazing.
It was.
More Panda Cafe shows.
Well, you can continue watching the series.
No, I want more Panda Cafe shows. I also want one in English, please.
Yeah, that would supposedly help.
Alright, so let's talk about Beastar. So what happens in this? So, I'm going to try to remember this because I didn't take any notes.
Radios. What was your experience with watching Beastars?
So I watched the first 4 episodes. So the first episode starts with, I forget what kind of animal it was, some kind of animal being chased through this school.
When?
And then there's this really cool sequence where he goes in the auditorium and it kind of goes in, I don't know how to explain it, but like all the art's dark and there's kind of just outlines.
No.
And it looks really, really cool. And then this dude gets killed, and then it's like, hey, credits time now. And then nothing really happens in the first episode. Does anything important happen in the first episode?
Basically an introduction to most of the characters and a basic concept of the world.
Okay, so this is a thing with Japanese shows that I've noticed. The first episode, they don't really explain shit. They kind of just go like, here, have a bunch of shit thrown at you, and we'll actually act like episode 2 as a pilot. Because episode 2, they actually start explaining things. I don't know if that's... I've just noticed it in a lot of the stuff I've watched, where they're like, we're going to try to... I guess it's like they're trying to hook you with episode 1, and then explain shit the next week. But it's weird, from a Western perspective.
Well, I think it's a question of, was the hook enough for what it did with the first episode, or would you prefer it more with what they do in more of a Western style?
I'd like a mix of the two. Because a lot of, like, Western pilots are very, like, well, we have to explain everything, and then nothing happens. But in this, the problem is everything happens, and I don't know why. So a bunch of stuff happens. We find out that basically there's this... Is it a high school, or is it a college? I'm not clear on this.
It's a basic institution of learning, but with most of it being described, it most likely be high school.
Okay. So it's this high school that... animals go to. They're like anthropomorphic animals.
Yes.
And there's the carnivores and the herbivores.
Yeah.
And there's a herbivore has been killed by what they assume is a carnivore. And of course, they are right. Because herbivores don't kill another herbivore. Unfortunately.
The possibility is there, but it's not exactly the thing they're exploring.
No, unfortunately. And then, what else do we find out in the first episode? I don't remember.
Not too much interest with the supposed characters that were introduced.
Who was introduced in episode 1? So there's...
Well, it starts off with Legosi.
Oh, Legosi. Yeah, because he's a wolf.
Yes.
Clever. He's fine, but also annoying.
In the sense that he's a wolf, but he's just like, meh.
He's kind of a little bitch.
Meh.
Like, he kind of doesn't do shit.
Meh.
And he complains an awful lot. And he's
Have you been a teenager, good sir?
Well, yeah, but he's annoying.
Meh.
Well, okay, fair.
But then, of course, let's take a look at his supposed opposite, Louis.
So, Louis is annoying, but less annoying.
A bit more in the opposite sense, or kind of turning the dial in the other direction?
He's at least doing shit. Because he's like the... they have this thing they call a Beastar, which is like the top student in the school or some nonsense.
Yeah.
Because they're animals and it has beast in it, so you get it. It's clever.
Jokes!
And like he's meant to be like the top student in the school, and that's important for some reason. I don't know. And like he at least does stuff. He's an actor, and he's like the lead in this play they're doing, which is called like Adler or something like that.
Yes.
I don't know if that's actually based on like a Japanese myth or not, but
I'm not too particularly sure, but it sounds interesting for the concept of the show.
yes, I was like, can I watch this play rather than the show? If this was an animated version of that play, I'd be much happier.
And it only showed a couple particular scenes of it, and it was just.
I know, and I was like, oh, can this whole thing just be about the play and not the rest of the shit? Anyway, what else happens in the first 4 episodes?
And then we get a quick introduction to Haru.
Which one's Haru?
Haru is the dwarf white rabbit.
Oh, her. Yeah, she's a character for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why she's in the show.
Well, there are reasons.
Other than to almost get killed.
Well, that and other reasons. But that's further along, and depending on if you want to dive into that hole.
Oh, we're going to talk about that part.
Yeah.
Because that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
And they say Japan isn't fucked up.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
Stop your evil glaring.
Anyway, what else happens in the first 2 episodes, Dave? I don't remember.
With this one, it's mostly just the introduction to the basis of this world and the story of them trying to get the play and whatnot together, as well as the inner concept of Legosi working with a couple of new feelings that are starting to develop inside of him.
Yeah, it's a very subtle show.
Wah.
Oh, also at the end, he almost sort of potentially... It's left on a cliffhanger. Where I think he might have killed Haru. But he just kind of scratches her.
Yeah.
Because, Because he gets, like, this... I don't know what it's meant to be. Is this meant to be, like, a spell? Is this meant to be something else that, like, triggers his, like, animal instincts? Because they're not meant to eat meat. That's, like, a sin.
Within this society, they've tried to work with the fact that there are herbivores and there are carnivores. With the basis of reality, carnivores eat herbivores. But if it's within the basis of the society, that's probably not going to work out very well with a couple of people. So, they tried their best to make certain changes so that herbivores and carnivores can live somewhat decently within this society. Of course, this doesn't stop carnivores still having the instinct of wanting to hunt carnivores.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what happens in episode 3? Because I don't really... I remember basically what happens throughout the first 4 episodes.
Oh boy.
Which one's those?
With those episodes.
Is episode 3 the one where they go to the garden?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good. Of that. So, with Legosi, he is part of the drama club and has to assist with getting some flowers for a particular arrangement for the show. And first meets with Haru, being the only member of the gardening club. And
because nobody wants to be her friend.
Yeah, because of her skills.
Okay. How do I put this tactfully?
Yeah.
I can't put this tactfully.
Yeah.
A wolf almost fucks a rabbit.
I think it's more so a case of the rabbit almost fucks the wolf.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's an interesting concept.
No, it's not. It's weird.
Well, Legosi is trying to deal with the fact of being a predator within this society.
No, I get the metaphor.
While Haru
I just don't like it.
While Haru is being, or has to live within a society as a herbivore, with all the particular things that, of what she is, how she's treated, she's always shown as weak, where the one action that she can do that has any sort of control for her is have sex with people.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. And then, of course, with Legosi having those first interactions and whatnot, such a change from all the particular things that he's done.
He freaks his shit.
Yeah.
And, okay, so they do this really hand-wavy shit with, like, so Lugosi attacks her in episode 1 or 2, and then she just magically doesn't remember.
Or doesn't bother to. Again, it was dark. She didn't exactly see what attacked her.
Okay, like, maybe, but no. I really dislike that.
And then, of course, just the fact that she doesn't want to be fretted over with any sort of concern, so she just sort of hands waves it. She has a problem, she deals with it. She doesn't want anyone else to get involved.
Yeah, maybe. Not a fan of it, but I'll let it go.
Yeah. But then, of course, there's the differences between Lugosi and Louis. A predator that tries to act wimpy to be more accepted, and prey that acts more authoritative and is beloved by just about everybody's.
Yeah. Is this the episode where... Oh no, that's episode 4 where we find out that Homeboy has a broken leg.
Yeah, it kind of happened within the first episode that it happened, but he's just been living with it for the last couple of episodes. It's just at 4 where it's like, oh hey, you're gonna collapse now. Wait, what? Oh.
Yeah. So in episode 4, they do the play, because they're doing it for 2 days, because it's like a welcome thing for new students or some nonsense.
Yeah.
And Louis passes out after the first performance because he has a broken leg, and he's been working on a broken leg apparently for weeks doing stage combat.
Yeah.
Not letting anyone know, because that's fucking clever.
He, at the very least, was using medicine and other sorts of stuff, but again, not exactly smart, saying like, oh man, I need to have this thing rest a bit. But I need to keep that committed for the play.
Yeah, no, if you have a broken leg, you get that shit taken care of. You don't go, I'm gonna do stage combat and shit. Anyway, so this means Tiger Boy, I don't know his name, I'm just gonna call them what they are. Tiger Boy.
I believe it was Bill, but yeah, Bengal Tiger.
Tiger Boy. No, you know what? Tiger Mask. That's better.
Nah.
Tiger Mask takes over his role and has like some rabbit blood
Nah.
that he uses like a drug or something. I don't quite get this. It's meant to, like, I guess he's trying to, like, bring out the beast within kind of thing for the performance.
Nah.
Which, okay, sure. They do, like, this fight on stage, because, what's his nuts?
Lugosi.
Right, Lugosi. Has to play one of the villains now, and they do this fight that's clearly real, but nobody stops them.
Nah, for several reasons.
And, like... Tiger Mask isn't very good in the role, so everybody's kind of bored. And then the fight happens and everybody gets really excited, and then Lewis comes out and, like, they completely rewrite the ending to the play in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And somehow people are just like, fuck it, that seems right. I thought this was meant to be like a famous play in this world, and like, yeah, this new ending seems fine.
That and it's Louis. The instant he comes up on stage, everyone just gets up and cheers because it is Louis.
Oh yeah, and the camera and the newspaper homeboy is pissed that they didn't get pictures of him on the first night or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's a mouse man.
Oh, can we do more with just the mice people? Because they were good.
And there were other small creatures, such as the small squirrel that nearly got stepped on in the lunchroom.
Yes, I want... Look, if this show was just about the tiny little students, I would be much more into it.
And who can forget the particular person within the drama club that needs Lugosi to help her crack her nuts?
What?
No, there was a small little squirrel person that's like, where's Lugosi? I need some help opening up my walnuts.
Oh, I don't remember this at all.
Eh.
But yeah, so Beastar was fine.
Is it a supposed thing that you're intrigued on seeing where it would supposedly go, or is it just taking particular turns that you're like, hard no?
Neither. If this were more focused on the drama club, I would probably like it more. If this were focused on the tiny students, I would like it more, because that would be good.
So taking the picture from how it's being shown now, it needs to be focused a little bit more down to something.
Well, yeah, because it's
particular.
only like 12 episodes or something. Like, it's quite short.
Mm-hmm. With the first season.
Oh, is it going to be multiple seasons?
The manga, from what I remember it's been going on for a couple seasons, and with how well Beastars has been going, I believe the second season will be going along.
Oh, okay. But, also, I had to watch it with subtitles. And that never helps the show.
Yeah, I thankfully got onto Netflix and they just had it in English.
Yes, well, I didn't see it on Netflix. Anyway, it was fine. If it was focused slightly more on one thing, I would probably like it more.
So,
Yeah.
bit more on the concept of more Legosi and the things that he's going through, or more so other particular little nuggets of stuff that sort of happen?
Either do more about the drama club and Lugosi, or do more about the tiny creatures. Because I want a show about the tiny creatures. And them almost getting stepped on, because that's funny.
You think things as a carnivore or herbivore are tough? Try being a tiny little creature with everything else being huge!
Imagine how good of a show that would be. Them having to get to class and shit. It would take them a week. Their tiny little legs having to get through the school building. That's good shit.
I think it would just sort of be cases that they make friends with those particular sorts of people. They'd just be sitting up on their shoulders. It's like,
They get a ride. Oh, that's great.
it's like, oh, this is my stop. Thank you for the lift. Woo!
That's fantastic. I want that to be a show. Oh, that's great. Did you have anything else about Beastar, David?
No, I think on whole, it was interesting with watching it, though it was a case of I mostly discovered it when it was having its rounds through the internet when it was first being shown off, and everyone being like, oh man, this thing is exploding and all things are going to shit, and then all the particular jokes that came from it.
It sure was a show, and I didn't hate it. It was fine. But, yeah, I don't think I would watch much more. Alrighty. So next time we speak, David, you're going to be watching a little show called No Way Out 2001.
Neat.
You're going to get to see a great four-way for the Intercontinental title, Triple H and Stone Cold in a 3 Stages of Hell match, the Dudley Boys against Kane and The Undertaker and Edge and Christian for the titles, for the tag titles, and Kurt Angle versus The Rock for the WWF title, among other matches. Oh, also Stephanie versus Trish.
Ooh.
Now, how long do you think Stephanie versus Trish should go, considering neither of them are really trained wrestlers?
10 minutes.
They get 8.5.
I was close.
That's like me and Justin having an 8.5 minute match.
I don't know. With you, you'd probably stretch it out a fair bit, knowing you.
But, I mean, I know Stephanie grew up in the business, but they don't really know what they're doing. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and they'll give Big Show and Raven 4 minutes and 20 seconds instead. Anyway, until next time, I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.